Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
how did that one kid at your school die? Cancer, and he was the school bully, so everyone was so happy he was gone from school, until he died. Then we all felt guilty. And shockingly, the priest, Catholic school, mentioned it in the weekly Ask the Priest Anything hour. He was a bully, and many of you disliked him, but you didn't kill him. You didn't give him cancer. I want you to remember that and don't blame yourselves. But don't forget him. Bullies aren't happy. They may do it because their family lives are bad or because they don't like themselves. He was young and he had a whole life ahead of him, and he might have changed. Don't forget him and try not to judge him, that's for God. 50 years later I still remember that day. They did a good job acknowledging both the bullying and potential feelings of guilt. Sounds like they did their best to help people process it. I like how they also acknowledged people can grow too, and he may have eventually developed out of it. That's a really powerful message. It made me tear up crying. That priest was a very sharp guy. 6th grade, they were playing tag in school. Kid climbed a tree and fell head first. Didn't make it to the hospital. Removed. OMG, that is frigging horrifying. It is. It happened after school too, so like we just found out the next day when they announced it. Murder-suicide. His mother shot him, his father, his sister, and then herself. The father and sister survived, but he and his mother both died. Just devastating on every level. That's tragic. Hope the father and sister are doing better now. Similar story, the dad shot the mom and turned the gun on himself. 2 high school-aged boys had to go to the group home. Dengue fever. She had gone back to her family home in the Philippines over summer holidays and got really sick. Her last MySpace post was, "Her name is going to die with this fever," and she was dead less than 24 hours later. I grew up in the Philippines and caught dengue fever when I was in college. It was no joke. I remember looking at the mosquito bite around noon. By 4 p.m. I had a high fever, and that evening I was already in the ER with low platelet counts and hallucinations. I had to be in the hospital for about 2 weeks, getting blood drawn almost every day to monitor everything. It was scary as hell. It's really scary. I remember that when I had dengue I felt pain even moving my eyes. I couldn't look up, for example. A horror. My GF's family is planning a reunion in the Philippines soon. We would so love to go. With COVID it has been years since we've been there. But we have a 2-year son now and we have decided not to go because of dengue. It's especially dangerous for children. There's a vaccine available now, but it's not given less than 4 years. Edit. Well Reddit, thank you. It's been a tough decision and the hardest part of not being part of it is actually yet to come, so all of your support is very, very much appreciated. You got this. It's only 2 years. Sucks not to be able to see your family. Maybe you can go extra times when it's safe. You guys are right to be cautious. Never get it at all is 100% better than any other option, because getting it twice can cause dengue hemorrhagic fever if you're not lucky enough. My cousin spent a week in hospital when she's in college BC of dengue, and her doc basically told her to be careful about mosquito, because, if you get it again, you die. He's exaggerating, but the risk is very real. She uproot everything and moved north after graduating because getting dengue gave her some of most miserable times of her life. Similar, had a burning passion for soccer. And was far and above the most talented player in the school. Had a congenital heart condition. Was told he couldn't play by the doctors. Parents got second opinion. He played. His heart gave out in the field. We had a kid like this too, except he was in my 8th grade gym class and we didn't know he had a heart condition and he just fucking fell over. My mom made me take a CPR class before I could babysit my siblings, and I really gave it my best little 8th grade shot for a solid 20 minutes before the EMTs showed up. We had a substitute that day, and I was the only one who knew how to do it. I'm still sorry to his parents. Sorry Mr. and Mrs. K, I really tried. ETA, thanks everyone for the well wishes. It was almost 30 years ago now. I'm glad to be talking about my friend here, even if we did end our friendship on such a tragic note. He was a great kid that loved to barbecue and play basketball, and he taught my little brother how to ride a bike. I just think everyone should know that. You did literally all you could do. That's honestly on the parents. I won't lie. Yeah. They were devastated, never really got over it. Sort of became shut-ins and recluses. The mom passed early from heartbreak, I assume. The father had tears in his eyes every time I saw him. Such a sad situation. My best friend had a kid die in middle school because during a baseball game, he got hit in the chest around his heart that caused an arrhythmia. It was a terrible freak accident that turned a fun game into tragedy. When I was in 8th grade, my other friend's family couldn't afford meds, and at the time, he was diagnosed as manic depressive. I think that's BPD now, but he committed suicide the summer before our freshman year. FYI, for most people BPD refers to borderline personality disorder. People with bipolar disorder have manic episodes. Went overseas, played cricket, and died from a cricket ball to the skull. It's crazy how much damage those can do, such an unfortunate way to go. He was chasing his drunk father to save him from trying to drive. The two crossed the road and were hit by a truck. Just happened today actually. I'm a head coach and one of my assistant coach's son was killed this morning. A 16-year-old in a big-ass lifted truck drove through a red light, killed him on impact. It's been 23 hours since it happened and I don't even know how to process it. I was sober for almost 2 years until 6 hours ago. Condolences, this shit is hard to deal with. Hey man, that's fucking crazy rough. Remember to jump back on the sobriety train and reach out for help. I'm in recovery and I lapsed when I watched my grandfather pass away. Nothing is more important than your sobriety, especially in times like these. Those kids need you sober and whole. Edit, at Thejak32, because you can't see the upvotes, there are over 500 people who have upvoted this and are rooting for you. I'll also use the visibility to reiterate some things that others have mentioned. A lapse is not a relapse. You can stop the cycle right now. Reach out to people you trust and let them know. The faster you communicate, the faster you can get back on track. Guilt and shame are easier emotions than grief. Do not replace grief with guilt and shame. It's a trick our minds like to play on us. You got this, my dude. You can DM me. I'm working but I'll check in on my messages. You are loved. We had a lot of deaths at my school. 2 that stick out. One kid in my class shot himself when he got a D in math class. We were in middle school. He did it at home. Another kid went into surgery for a football injury, had an allergic reaction and died. An old coworker of mine went in for a surgery on her ankle and died as well. I wasn't in direct contact with her but noticed she hadn't posted anything on Facebook for a while. I asked a mutual friend how she was doing and that's when I found out. She had a lot of health problems that could have caused it. I don't know exactly what happened but I know the surgery was supposed to be an easy routine one and it didn't turn out that way. When I was in grade school we had a sweet little boy who died of brain cancer. Life certainly isn't fair. Had a friend down the street in kindergarten. He died from brain cancer at 6, like, what? I was too young to fully understand but it has always stuck with me. My sister died of cancer at 9 years old and all she ever knew was cancer and treatments from the age of 2 onward until she passed. What was terrible is when she did get to go to elementary school, the kids would often run from her because she was bald. She cried to me one day saying no one liked her. I also saw a lot of children with cancer growing up. I was surrounded by them, and death at a young age. So many kids have to go through such terrible things, and while some did survive, the ones that didn't stick in my mind. He had cancer. He was getting better but his port got infected while they were changing it and he died. He was my best friend and I still feel his absence 10 years later. God damn, I had a port when I had cancer that got infected. Didn't know it was that common. Sorry for your loss. My oldest brother had a port for dialysis and it got infected at least once. It's unfortunately pretty common. Threw a can of pressurized, aerosolized bug spray in a campfire. It blew up and burnt him severely, significant burns to the esophagus, lungs. Took him 10 or so days to die in the hospital. Terrible, terrible thing I imagine. That's awful. I saved a kid from doing that once. He could have taken out all the campers still sitting around the fire. Counselors were already in their tents and I was the oldest. I can't believe the counselors left their campers unattended with a fire. I'm glad you were there to stop him. I'm in a town where everyone knows everyone. I was my last year in primary school, 10 11th-year-olds, and the youngest years were 5-year-olds. One stood out, Matty. Lil bro was a menace and hyper AF. So growing up I always recognized him around town. Fast forward to when I was 18/19, I'm coming home from work. To get to my place you have to drive past a field his old man owns with some livestock and I see some smoke coming from the bottom. Told my folks to keep going home, it's likely Matty and friends, now 11/12, with a campfire. I'll keep an eye on them for a while. I get down there and sure enough, small group of lads just chilling with a controlled fire. I make it a little more secure and chill out with them keeping an eye. Matty left the circle and was messing about making a second fire, kept my eye on him but didn't think too much of it. Took my eyes off him for maybe 30 seconds. Next thing I hear is, watch this, as his face is 6 inches from a fire, which H has just placed a pressurized cannon marked extremely flammable. Can't remember what it was. Swear to God I've never moved so fast and tackled him straight down to the ground. Second later, it was like a small bang and a sound that was like, well, what I assume firing a flamethrower sounds like. Caught the blast all on my left side, being a few feet away from it was still enough to make that side of my face bright red for days. Had he stayed that close to it face forwards, I imagine this is how he would have ended up. I hope he learned his lesson to stay safe and everyone was okay. You're a hero. Our school used to have early morning and evening swimming practice for the school swimming team members. When I say early morning, I'm talking 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Afraid of punishments, the girls would hurry out the dorms to the pool quick. One day, one girl, we still aren't sure if she was sleepy or suicidal. She jumped from the topmost diving board, straight into an empty pool. The water had been drained night prior. Everyone was left wondering if she thought there was water, or if she just jumped. Poor girl, such a tragic loss. It sounds like she woke and went on autopilot. With the pool having been emptied, it should have been locked. There was no reason for kids to have access. My question would be, was she in her swimsuit or normal clothes? I suppose not everybody would think like this, but to me, if I did it intentionally, I'm not sure I'd bother getting dressed for swimming. Getting changed shows intent to swim, to me. More inclined to think it was a tragic accident, as you said. Early morning, autopilot. Pools don't have waves and can be dead still and clear. I know I'd still be in a dream state if I had to go to a swim practice at 4 a.m. With kids often studying into the evening hours, I have to wonder who in their right mind would think that a 4 a.m. practice was a good idea. I landed in a discussion on a parenting subreddit once where I learnt it's quite common to have extremely early swim practice training in the US. My husband told me he would drive to swim practice half asleep. Like he would wake up and be at practice with no recollection of driving there. At least the roads were pretty clear that early in the morning.